Salvete omnes, welcome back to your favourite subject, Latin. This week you're going to be revising all of those noun and verb endings which you learned so brilliantly last term. So just to help you out, let's start with verbs. Remember that you've learned 3 tenses so far in Latin. You've learnt the present tense, which is used for talking about things which are happening now. So I sleep or I am sleeping. You've learned the imperfect tense for talking about things which were happening. And you've learned the perfect tense, which we use to talk about things which happened once in the past and are finished. So I slept or I have slept. So can you remember the endings for each person in the different tenses? If you want to pause the video now and test yourself, then feel free to go ahead. But I'm just going to run through all of those endings now. So present tense, we start with porto, portas, portat, portamus, portatis, portant. So those really important endings, ost, mus, tis, unt. Then for the imperfect tense, the most important thing to remember is the ba that we add to the stem of the verb. So porta ba becomes the imperfect stem for the verb to carry. And as soon as you see that ba, you should be thinking, right, this verb means was or were doing something. And then we add our person endings. So we add m, s, t, mus, tis, unt. And that gives us bam, bas, bat, barmus, bartis, bant. Now, for the perfect tense, there are a few different ways of recognising this. The most usual letter to look out for is a V. So let's add that onto our verb to carry here. But there's a few other letters that you could look out for as well. So you might see an S, a U, a double S, or an X. And if you're in my class, you'll have heard me talk about the Sussex 5 as a way of remembering those different trigger letters. So here we've got a V, and then we're adding our endings E, isti, it, imus, istis, and errant. So portavi means I carried, portaverant means they carried. Brilliant. Now let's take a look at some nouns. So here we go, nice blank table. Can you remember what the different cases are used for? So the nominative we use for the subject of the sentence. So the girl eats a cake, the girl is the subject. And the accusative we use for the object. So if the girl eats a cake, then the cake is the object, it's the thing getting eaten. And then last term, we also learned the dative, which is the case that we use to say to or for. So if the girl bakes a cake for her friend, then her friend is dative. If she very kindly gives a cake to her brother, then her brother is dative. Now, remember we've got 3 different groups or declensions of noun that we've met so far in Latin. We've got the first declension, nouns like puella, girl. We've got the second declension, nouns like servus, slave. And then we've got the third declension, which are basically all of the other ones. So, what are the endings? Puella becomes puellam when it's the object, accusative, and puellei when it's dative to the girl. And in the plural, puellei, puellas, and puellis. So if I give presents to the girls, then I would say puellis. For the second declension, so most of these ones start off ending in us, so servus, then they turn into servum and dative servo. In the plural, servi, servos, and then servis. So if I punish the slaves, they're the object, they're plural, they would be servos. Then third declension, all sorts of things could go here. I've chosen canis, but we could equally have rex, or we could have mercator. we could have Leo, we could have Grumio, doesn't really matter. But they all follow the same pattern. So canis turns into canem, and then cani in the dative. In the plural, canes, canes, and then canibus. Brilliant. So you should have these endings written or stuck into your exercise book, but they're also in the back of your red textbook if you need to look them up as well. So now that your brains are back in gear, I'd like you to have a go at the task which is on today's hero page. Use your exercise book or your textbook to look things up if you get stuck, but you will be practicing identifying different cases in Latin and also working out what different verbs mean by looking really closely at the endings. Good luck!